Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Thomas Was Alone. Thomas is not so alone anymore. In fact, he and the rest of the starting quadrilaterals sacrificed themselves so a new generation of AI could flourish.
Together for a long time. They were a machine, a well-oiled machine. They could jump like nobody's business.
And now we start Chapter 9, following Team Jump. They are all gray squares. And this is just a series of progressively shorter stair-stepping leapfrogs. So that we can just get one across to hit this button that will let everyone else on Team Jump get across the river. It's a bit more of a pond, actually. But still, we need all of them across. Oh no! You to get up here, and then actually having a bunch of pink ones is not that important. I think, in fact, they can all make this jump without any of the pink ones. Because unlike Chris, the original square...
They thought as one, they acted as one.
Oh, this is what you need the pink for, the button. So yeah, you need at least one pink one. That's unavoidable, they're all gonna become pink while crossing. Other than that, you don't actually need the bounce. Because like I was saying, unlike Chris, they have pretty high jumps. In fact, you don't even need the pink, even if you could get it here, for the last one to reach the very top of the stack. So 9-1 is just introducing us to a lot more cooperation. And then we get pared down a little bit. Nope, not yet.
All bowed before the team. He begged them to help. He told them of the outer world, of the cats who couldn't spell, of the liar, Grey.
So Grey...
And to the right, they answered in unison.
Grey is a villain. And we don't actually need to move that one over here. The rest of them? Ah, this is fun. Button gets hit. He's good to go. Paul can continue on his way over here. And everyone else does too, because they eventually hit one of these blue stripes that gave them their buoyancy back after the gray one reset them to their default state again. We just have to make sure... Oh, hold on. Get him up there. We just have to make sure none of the... Oh, whoops. That's not the one. This one is just for Paul, and the rest of them are going to have to backtrack. We just want to make sure that Paul doesn't hit that gray band and lose his buoyancy. And then... move you. It's just... Actually, it's only two more that we have to move, since the third one, his exit portal is just right here. And the last one comes up here, using the elevator. Oh, not actually using the elevator. I forgot that you need to just get that long jump out of the jets.
Sam continued moving upwards. They had to make it. Grey had told the couple he was looking for a lost friend. He'd made something up about being alone on a quest for lost allies. They had eaten it up.
We just need to bounce her up here. So she needs a little bit more height. Then the rest of the way she can get on her own. We're trying to get everyone over to the far left. First, we need to do a little bit of running around, especially with this one. We're waiting for that L block on the far right now to move down. And in the meantime, oh, he's still purple. We need him buoyant. We need him blue. We'll start to reposition them as this rides back up. So you see these cyclical gray blocks? they will reset you back to gray, take away your buoyancy, and leave you stranded and drowned. So you have to make the cycle when they are not going to be touching any of the quadrilaterals. And you can do that by skipping like a stone across the water. Really easy way to do that. Much easier, I think, than waiting on them to go all the way up. Especially since you can kind of jump over them if you need to. With 2/3 of the characters in this level. And that's Team Jump again.
The team, along with their spiritual leader Paul, worked their way right. Team Jump were proud of their progress. They'd obliterated all challenges in their path. Yeah, they'd heard of individuals getting stuck on staircases or stepping stones. This did not happen to Team Jump.
So the first gray and green level is a really good precursor of what's to come. These are some of the most creative levels in this chapter, I think. You are going to go down. We need like 3 of them down here? Yeah. And we're saving Paul over there for a moment from now, because we need him to fall into the portal, because it's just suspended in midair. And everyone else, except for this dude, is in their rightful spot. Now we're about to get him in, and then Paul can also join. And we're good. Now the next 2 are also like this, and they are so good. This one is like VVV a little bit, or V6. Since it's just all up and down.
Gray could tell they were nearing the exit portal. He smiled to himself, trying to work out the easiest way of dispensing with his allies when the time came.
So in the last 2 chapters, we have an actual honest-to-God villain. Which is a little bit awkward, to be honest. It goes from a pretty emotional... I was gonna say man against nature style conflict, but no, block against nature. Or block against machine, maybe? The machine is their nature. And then, everything shifts. Brand new characters, brand new conflict. Feels almost like an expansion or a mini-sequel. Oh yeah, this is what I have to do here. Hold on. Over to the left, and then jump in the reversed gravity. Cool. Love these. One more of these with move.
Saw the others beyond the wall. They were doing well. Paul tried to shout a warning, but they couldn't hear him. Gray counted 5 in Team Jump. He could take them.
And then one more of these with the addition of purple, double jump. This one we want him to hit the gray, then the green again, so his gravity will flip. Oh, and we don't want that to happen. So we're falling upwards and trying to dodge the gray that will reset that, so we can get all the way up here. Now we're carrying out the rest of Team Jump to a bunch of different locations, and if you look on the bottom right, look how many characters there are in this one. This is among the most time-consuming levels in the game. It's still really good and really creative. But we haven't actually seen the long part of it yet. There are 3 blocks that aren't really doing anything. They're not tinged with any color. Over on the right side of the screen, that big black wall is bisecting. The 3 of them get to do just a lot of leapfrogging. Like, if you're looking at how vertical this level is, they have to climb it almost straight vertically instead of kind of falling around. There they are. We're going to leave one of the blocks from Team Jump alone because, again, we need that boy to fall into his portal instead of stalling there. And a lot of the way that these three climb is just straight up staircase style leapfrogging, like we've been doing the whole game. Especially because one of the blocks is like Chris, and he has virtually no jump aside from the extra height you get from the double jump. It's still not much though. Does make this a little bit less tedious, even though you're still doing essentially the same thing. The nice thing is that you don't have to first prop him on the medium-sized block, and then hop him up to the long one, and then hop the medium block up onto the long one, and do that whole repetitious thing. You can stack medium on long, and then just double jump your way up there, with no extra assistance. I didn't know this before I did this LP, but Mike Bithell was not able to really code very much. He wasn't, like, much of a coder before making Thomas Was Alone. I think he learned to code while doing this. He did this in Unity. And every time I play one of these games where it's either the developer's first game or they learn to code while making it, it's really inspiring because I'd like to make a game, and I have a lot of ideas for what I would like to make. And I've had some of these for a long, long time. And it used to be way more intimidating than it is now because I thought, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm bad at math. I never coded, really. No coding experience outside of, like, JAS scripting for the Warcraft world editor, the Warcraft 3 world editor, I should say. And nowadays, there are so many user-friendly resources and, like, tutorials and ways to learn that it feels like, yeah, I can learn as I go, and I don't necessarily need, like, a computer science degree to do this. Actually, you know what one really surprised me? I'll save this for a second, because there's going to be narration going on.
Sam was worried at how silent Gray had become. He wasn't responding to Joe's questions or acknowledging them at all.
So we need to get this one back here, because again, we have a short jump, but we actually don't need the long one to get the shortest one across. We only need the assistance of that one bounce. So that makes this a lot easier. Also, the color palette of this level is super pleasing. It's the watermelon color palette, till you get to the grays. Then a lot more cool VVV style stuff, except without the agency of when you switch crap. Well, no, you can choose when you go in the bands.
Trying to save his friends.
Boom, boom, we're ping-ponging all over the place. We're gonna take this one up here because it's the only path that he can actually use to get here into his portal. The one that I've always been really surprised by, and I only learned about this because he did a panel at PAX East. The developer of Dust and Elysian Tale didn't know it, like that was his first game. He didn't know how to code either, and he learned along the way. I always find that really inspiring. It makes it seem doable. Like, you still need a ton of time and effort and, you know, ability and the capacity to actually learn all of this stuff, like an aptitude for it. But it's doable. Like, it's not easy. It won't be easy to do, but it's possible. And that's important. Like, having these examples to look towards that prove that. Oh, we want to get him just there. Perfect. We have to watch how far down we jump so we don't jump into the spikes there. Oh. And then this is the one that can't take the upper path. We have to go low and jump over the gray zone. then he can get back up here, just with his own jump.
Paul knew the path ahead wasn't safe. He told the team to wait, that he'd come get them when it was secure. Gray had to be stopped, whatever the cost.
And then 9-8's really straightforward. Again, it's team jump, so they all have their really nice jump heights. And this is... I'm assuming this is falling. And occasionally we'll either get the gray bands or the green ones to switch gravity. And either way, no matter which one you're on, you can climb. It's a little bit faster with the green, I think. Then it's just about lining them all up so they fall into their respective places. We might miss that cycle, because I was sloppy with how they were positioned leading up to now. Yeah, so we're going to have to wait till the gray comes back, so they'll all fall into position. This is my favorite level.
The pixel cloud had been separated from its allies for some time. She'd not heard the order to retreat. She was shocked by the appearance of the 4 aberrations below. The old one seemed to be leading the liar to an outcropping. It was within her reach. She could remove them both. The couple could wait. They weren't going anywhere.
So we're going to divide these up into 2 teams. Over here, you actually do not need the blue at all to cross this, so you can just get double jumps. That lets the small block climb completely, almost independently. And of course, the medium-sized one can already do that with just the double jump. Then they're just coming up to the upper right, using these elevator cycles. If I was a little bit better at juggling them, I could probably skip a cycle or 2 there. Then we'll go to the team covering the left half. And these ones get pretty interesting. So we're going to use, I think, pink for that one, and then purple for the short one. So we can double jump up onto the long block and bounce off of that one. I think we have to do that leapfrogging style just a couple of times to get up to the top, and then there's still a couple of additional things that we need to do. Yeah, we don't quite have enough height to clear the blocks with just the double jump. So we're just bouncing. That's a nice way to skip that. Let's try to do that again. Hey! Then this one's portal is right there, and you can slide under the blocks, but we need to get the long block here to the other side as well. Which means we have to go and get this one their own double jump. So everyone's going to have a double jump by the end of this. Game is like Oprah, just handing out double jumps now. We left this one sticking out to create a platform, and then up and over with the double jump. That is my favorite level, just because of all the swapping. And there are also a bunch of different viable strategies, and oh no, the Pixel Cloud has murdered them.
Joe and Sam ran. They had no idea where these final portals would lead, but it had to be better than this.
Joe and Sam, the sole survivors for now. And this is the final level. This is our final level of the game. 9-9 is the final, I guess, challenging level. This one is much more about the spectacle and the catharsis of beating the game. And also letting the narrative finish playing out. Oh, that's not quite where I need to go. Need to actually do some upside down platforming real quick. There we go. And then the rest of it is just falling up to the right. And being a platform so the other one can hit a button. One more button to end the game.
They leapt.
And yeah, that feels a little abrupt, right? Personally, I think that the ending is really unsatisfying. It's a shame to say because I think the rest of the game is a complete delight. I think it's really clever, both in its design and how it works around some pretty severe restraints and constraints. But it's really creative and clever and just delightful and wholesome and nice. Then the ending is kind of eh. However, that is going to do it for Thomas Was Alone. Thomas and friends. Many, many friends by the end of that. We got flooded with characters in the last few chapters. Maybe didn't get the time in the oven that they deserved, though. Didn't feel as fleshed out as some of the others. As for the expansion stuff, or that I think it was just a couple of pieces of DLC. There's a chapter 10 and 11 is DLC. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Maybe as a bonus episode or bonus episodes sometime down the road. But for now, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the other YouTube stuff. Check the description for the doobly-doos, etc. and so forth. And if you like my stuff and want to support me, go to patreon.com/scribe. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one.